What's going on, guys? Welcome back to The Country Investor. My name is Robert, if this is your first time tuning in. So really quickly, we have some really cool merch. I'll put a picture of it right here. And definitely check it out. And definitely check out the description down below. I have some links for some great incentives. If you set up some bank accounts, you'll get some really cool money, up to $325 with Sofi. So that's pretty cool. But without further ado, guys, this video is going to be talking about the 10K debt forgiveness, the student loan forgiveness. We're going to dive into why or why not that may or may not be a good choice. So stay tuned for that. Okay, guys, so if most of you may or may not know, the president, Mr. Biden, he did make an announcement saying he was going to forgive $10,000 worth of student loans for anybody making under $120,000 or $125,000 per year. I think even for those who receive some Pell Grants, you're going to get $20,000 knocked off. So there's a lot of discussion. There's either on this side, or you either just don't care, right? I guess there's three sides to this, or you just have no idea what's even going on. But I'll tell you where I stand on. I've seen both sides. So I am a student. I'll just give you a little bit of background about myself. So I am a college graduate. I did graduate. But what I did is I didn't take out any student loans. I actually worked 2 jobs just to go to school. So I would work in Austin, Texas, working in construction. So if anybody knows construction, it is not easy. It is hot, it's nasty, dirty work, but the pay is excellent, especially for a college student. And then I also worked for 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning on a route delivering products to different restaurants. So I worked a lot just to get my education. So that's where you can kind of see where I'm coming from on this. So that's just a little background of myself, so that way you see where I'm coming from. Again, my parents didn't have money. They worked, multiple jobs themselves, so they couldn't afford to put me through school. So I had to figure out a way to pay for it myself. My mom did help me out with a couple $100. I remember my first semester, but that was pretty much it. I mean, a couple $100 on tuition is, it's almost I wouldn't say nothing, but it doesn't even, it's a drop in the bucket as far as the cost of tuition goes. So a lot of it had to. So how do I feel about this as a person who paid for school themselves? Honestly, I have no regrets. Like, I'm not like, oh, I should have taken out a student loan just to have it forgiven. I graduated a long time ago. Why would I wanted to continue paying on it for so many years and then until finally this year get it taken off my quote unquote record? No, I'd rather be debt free those entire years, because that entire set of years, it would have been a huge setback for me. So I'm glad I did how I did it, and I wouldn't go back and take out a student loan, regardless of what the policy is now. Okay, so now we're going to talk about, do you think it would actually help or benefit these people? So for some, it actually might. But I do know personally a lot of friends who have over $100,000 worth of debt. So removing $10,000 it's not much help in my opinion. But I guess $10,000 is better than nothing. But again, for a lot of medical students and a lot of PhD graduates, doctors, things like that, it's not really going to be beneficial if they're not already over that $125,000, $120,000 income threshold anyway. For some people who may have just, started an associate's degree and accumulated some debt, and now it's just gotten wiped off, for them, it actually may be beneficial. So now we're going to dive into, I guess, the repercussions of the whole Biden administration, issuing the $10,000 debt forgiveness. So first off, you're removing student debt. These are basically people who chose to take on that debt. So I had somebody mention in my comments on one of my social media pages. They said instead of removing student loan debt, why don't they remove medical debt instead? And their reasoning was that the students chose to take on that debt. Somebody who has medical bills did not choose to take on that medical expense. It's an out of the blues occurrence. It wasn't something they asked for. It was something that just occurred, which I can agree with them on that. I mean, the student chose to take on the debt. They knew they were going to be responsible for however many long years it took them to pay that off. Somebody who is in medical debt, it's a different situation. It could have been a car accident. It could have been just cardiovascular issues, just kidney issues, just anything can happen with any of us. So the medical debt, in my opinion, makes more sense. And I'll get to the reason why. And that's going to be because, let me just give you an example. So if you've ever seen lottery winners, they win multi-million. So let me just give you a quick example. So you get multi-million-dollar winnings from a lottery jackpot, which usually goes to low-income households. Statistically, lower income individuals are the ones who purchase lottery tickets. It's been proven over and over again. It's usually the lower income people who purchase lottery tickets. That's not to say, there's some people that, are a little more wealthy purchasing tickets, but the majority are lower income. So the problem with that is you'll see that these people will get their winnings. They'll win millions and millions of dollars. Well, they've never accumulated that amount of money in their lifetime. They've never touched $1 million. So how do you expect these people to spend that money wisely? What you'll see is these people will end up going broke within, 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5 years, mainly because, people are asking them for money, family members, they're just buying luxury goods. It's because they haven't been taught how to properly spend their money. So how can you expect somebody who has never had money to go out and spend their money correctly without going broke? So this is kind of like the same mentality by removing the student debt on those students. The students already have a consumer mindset of buy, or just take out loan. That mindset hasn't changed. All you've done is you removed that $10,000 from their plate. Now those $10,000 that they would have paid on that debt, now they're going to go use it towards something else, another vehicle, another clothing line. They're still in a consumer mindset. Yes, they remove some debt temporarily, but that debt's going to be accumulated somewhere else. So the next topic is going to be that $10,000 that they removed from the people, which turns out to be billions of dollars. Now somebody's going to have to pick up that tab. The money just didn't, disappear. It came from somewhere and it's going to go somewhere. So what's going to happen is you're going to see that in, higher cost in taxes, which taxes do typically go up, but now they're going to be put onto more items, if not elevated on the current items that we already have. So in my opinion, removing those $10,000 from the plates of these individuals isn't going to do any significant damage in the big picture, the big scheme of things. And that's because the mindset of these individuals hasn't changed. It's still a consumer mindset. So it's not going to make a difference. All it's going to do is those $10,000 in debt are going to be added somewhere else in their lives. That's not to say that there are a couple people out there, some outliers that are actually going to do good with this $10,000 that they've been gifted. But the majority of people don't have that mindset. So it's not going to be beneficial to those people overall. All right, so just to kind of wrap up the video here, I personally believe that the $10,000 debt forgiveness was not a good move. I don't think it's going to have a big enough impact overall. The only thing it's doing is going to create more debt in those people's lives in just other areas. That's all that's going to happen because, again, the mindset hasn't changed. It's still a consumer mindset. It's still, a loan mindset, taking out loans to get through whatever you need to get through. So the mindset hasn't changed. If the mindset hasn't changed, nothing's going to change. So my personal opinion, this debt forgiveness would have been better spent in the medical field, removing medical bills, because that's not to say that their mindset is any different. But in this case, the medical bills, they didn't ask for those medical bills. They didn't ask to go to the hospital. They didn't ask to get the disease. This is just something that happened to them. And that debt would have been better for them to de-burden these people, these individuals, versus students who, I understand they're trying to better their lives, but they chose to take that debt on. So that's something that they should have had to have dealt with, knowing that. If not, if they didn't want any debt, do something I did. I busted my butt for, those 4 or 5 years just to not have debt when I graduated. So that's where I stand on it. Again, let me know if I'm right or wrong. If you have any input, drop it down below. I'd be happy to see what you guys have to say. Like I said, just keep it, an educational conversation. Without further ado, guys, be careful, be good, take care, and God bless, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.